Welcome to Financial Issues, where we help you steward faithfully by honoring God with your investments. Now listen in as we give you the practical tools and advice you need to become a biblically responsible investor.
This is Financial Issues, where we help you defund darkness and fund the light by investing with biblical integrity. Merry Christmas, everyone. Seth Udinsky, Sam Case, and your host, Mark Manila, on this wonderful Christmas Monday. Mark, great to be here with you, brother. Good morning.
It is, isn't it? I was just thinking about that, Seth, as we were coming in. I was thinking, what a great family we have, the Financial Issues family. All you guys there up in Philadelphia. And, you know, it just is a great group of people. But it's also more than that. The family reaches out to our partners and our listeners and all those who just happen to tune in. I want you to know it's Christmas week here, and you're not alone. If you're having a great time preparing for Christmas, praise God. That's the way it should be. If you're not, if maybe you're sitting back a little sad, maybe some memories are coming back, or you're feeling alone, you're not. If you're listening to the show, you're not alone. You have a family here. We care. We care more about you than we do about investments, actually. That's why we're here, to help you get closer to who it really matters to, and that's the one true God, the God of all creation, the God of salvation, the God of provision. That God loves you. So if for some reason you're having a little bit of a hard time this week, just stop. Spend a little time with your Father in heaven. He loves you, and he's waiting for you to check in. He wants to put his arms around you. He wants to hold you. He wants to carry you through, give you strength, give you wisdom, give you faith. It's going to work out. For those who are having a good time, it's going to work out for you too. You're going to make it through.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great to be here with you all today. Our phone lines are open, folks, so give us a call right now. 610-363-1110. Again, 610-363-1110. We got a lot to discuss today. Of course, it is Christmas week, so again, a Merry Christmas to all of you. But a couple things happening here. We'll be looking at the penultimate strategy on Mark's 7 strategies for a financially healthy new year as you're preparing to start 2026 on solid footing. We'll be looking at the second to last one of those. Also,
good use of penultimate.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think you stopped everybody with that word. We're all sitting here thinking about. Listen, well, that's a good word.
Sometimes I shock myself, guys, with how brilliant it is. No, speaking of brilliance, actually, what does AI have to do with the concept of saving money? Well, according to Elon Musk, apparently has a lot to do. He's got a very controversial take on that. We'll get to all that. I think some good news here. It looks like the Trump administration is at least trying to crack on the horrid, godless procedure causing transgender to children. Sam, what have you got for us here?
Yeah, what a Christmas present this would be if this actually comes through. So the Trump administration's proposing new rules right now that if they take effect, this is just a proposal at the moment, but what it would do is Medicare and particularly to kids. RFK Jr., the HHS secretary, is leading the charge on this. He said, "This is not medicine. This is malpractice." Here he is.
The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, battled the lie that chemical and surgical injecting procedures for children who suffer from gender dysphoria. They betrayed the estimated 300,000 American youth ages 13 to 17 condition that sex gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable, and it is malpractice.
Yeah, really hard to argue with that. So if these rules do become the law, the rules would basically be a nationwide ban because it would apply to every state, even states where these practices are still legal. By the way, speaking of laws, House lawmakers last week passed a bill that, if that passes, would criminalize transgender treatments on minors. Violations could face up to 10 years in prison, although that does face a pretty tough road to hoe in the Senate, where it does have to overcome that 60-vote filibuster.
Mark, what do you make of this?
Well, it's ugly news to be talking about to start off with. I mean, it's just so sad. But it's also
sad there has to be rules to stop this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is so sad, but it is good that for the first time in a while, I think I'm seeing some adults in the room, to put it gently. Way too often, if there's money involved, if there's wealth to be created, if there's manipulation and power, then it doesn't matter what you do to the children or what you do to the weak or the defenseless. I call them adults, those who will stand up and speak the truth no matter what. The John Waynes of our modern world. We need more of them today. We're seeing that now. This administration is starting to stand up and be bold, and there's a lot of people in this administration who are willing to risk it all for the sake of those that can't protect themselves, that are being manipulated, that are being used and abused. It just disgusts me to think about how sad this is. And I've seen this cycle many times in the 60s and the 80s, and now we're seeing it again, where somebody comes up with an idea and they can make gobs of money off it, and they can manipulate, and it's all at the expense of those who can't take care of themselves. I'm all for these laws. I'm all for doctors losing their license. I'm all for the people. This is the first time I think I've ever felt this way about laws to put people in jail for doing something that maybe wasn't illegal, but will turn to be illegal. I think it's really important that we realize that manipulating and using and abusing and destroying these lives of these children, these minors, is just wrong. You know, if you're an adult, if you're 40 years old and you want to go do something stupid to yourself, that's between you and God. But when you're a minor, we're supposed to be here to protect you. We're supposed to be here not experimenting with you, but protecting you. And this was just a big experiment that a bunch of people, I can't even think of a kind word to say for this type of people, decided to do to try to destroy our nation, destroy the kids, to divide everything, and just for sexual pleasures in themselves and power and money. So it's sick, and I'm glad we're moving in the right direction. It's taken way too long, and there's not enough people standing up. So I want to encourage everybody, first of all, be praying for these doctors who like abortion, doctors who perform elective abortions. Be praying for them as well. You know, and this mutilation goes right along that line. Be praying for our leaders that they'll stand up. Speak the truth in love. Try hard not to be demeaning and mean about it, but be firm. Be like, just speak the truth in love, bottom line. And let's keep the momentum on. Let's save our children. Let's save the weak. Let's save the defenseless. Let's come to their side, not doing what they want or what they think they want, but what we know is the right thing to do to help them to grow up before they make a decision that'll keep them from growing up and being a stable person, especially a stable person in the Lord.
You know, Mark, two thoughts came to mind as you were talking there, and I agree completely. Number one, the importance of what we do at Financial Issues. When you become a partner, that's actually a very small way, but nonetheless, a very impactful way that you can fight against this stuff, because the companies that we're invested in are not going to be funding the transgender stuff. So if you're feeling a little bit of a kind of a despairing attitude that your impact doesn't really go that far, I would encourage you to think again, because your impact actually does. Your dollars matter. That's number one. Number two, Mark, you had mentioned how important this is. Ordinarily, in a good, godly, just society, when someone harms a child purposefully in an evil, insidious way, what should happen is that person who harmed them, the adult, should either be thrown in jail for a really long time or they should be executed. That's truthfully what should happen, depending on the severity of the crime, obviously.
Right.
We need to start seeing these people who are doing this stuff knowingly get punished for it.
Right.
We absolutely
in the hospitals and these national hospitals, these large organizations that are doing these things and taking the Medicare and Medicaid money and taking taxpayer money to do them. They're doing it all for money with no care for those children, not protecting them, not looking at the long-term impact this is going to have on their lives, not just just saying, well, they think they're a girl, therefore, well, you know what? I thought I was an Army man when I was 4 years old and
Mark,
5 years old.
actually
I thought I was a Marine. At one time, I wanted to be a lion. Nobody gave me money to change myself into a lion.
Right.
This is just perversion and
How
sickness.
unloving, Mark,
And
would it have been if your parents said, of course you're a lion. Here, we'll toss you into the lion's pen at the zoo. Go play with them, little lion.
Yeah,
That's murder.
exactly.
It's
Well, I think they
Exactly.
are looking at the long-term impact because they know that they'll have a patient for life. That's a money stream forever.
Yeah, exactly. That sickness of greed and wealth and power. God, we need you so badly right now. It breaks my heart.
Absolutely. We really do.
I hope you all will pray. I hope you'll write your congressman, your House of Representatives, write the president, support them, let them know we're glad there's adults in the room standing up to protect the defenseless, to protect the children, those who look to adults to do that. We need more and more people to do that. And we're hoping you'll join us in writing our leaders to make sure.
There are moments in life that define us. Choices determine the courses we take. Before investing.
Are you tired of the chaos? There are a lot of things that make noise, but only a few that truly matter. As a parent, I want to leave something that will last for a long time.
You invest $300 a month increase on unpack by the time you retire.
Not just an inheritance of money, but a legacy of godly values.
Here at Financial Issues, we want to help you grow your money, but our main goal is to help you honor God with the money that He's given you.
Invest your money in a God-honoring way. Go to financialissues.org.
I found out I was pregnant when I was 21 years old. For me, I was scared, I was shaking. They do an ultrasound. And that's when everything changed. When I saw my baby and when I heard her heartbeat, that was it. We've seen the hand of God ever since we stepped into the pregnancy center.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
Folks, I can't stress enough. If you hear a story like the one we just talked about with the transgender stuff and you're feeling the temptation to despair, I get it. I really do. But there's also a way for you to fight back, and it's with your money. That's why we talk about this so much, is where your dollars go really has an impact. And you think about this, Mark.
Sure does.
When you get 100,000 people or 1 million people who are willing to impact the culture with a little bit of money, that's now a huge impact. It's not huge from the standpoint of the individual, but if you get so many people saying, you know what, we're going to put a stop to this, that's a big impact. And it takes each of us, folks. It really does. So be encouraged, really. Be encouraged by that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're seeing some good news, some wins come out on that.
For sure. For sure. Well, Mark,
it's not even winning Wednesday.
That's right. It's not even winning Wednesday. But you know what? It kind of, in many ways it is, Mark, because this is the week we celebrate the greatest win of all, where our Lord Jesus broke into this world to save us from our sins. So it certainly is a win. Pretty cool.
Yes, yes.
Well, Mark, we've got as I said earlier, the penultimate strategy, the second to last one of the 7 here. Give it to us here, Mark. What do we need to know as we enter 2026?
Well, this is one that most of our listeners, if not all of them, are very familiar with, and that's align your investment with God's calling. Except a little bit of twist in this. Sure, we want to be biblically responsible in what we invest in, meaning we don't want to partner with, by buying stock and becoming an owner in a company, with any company that is doing anything that causes God's heart to grieve, as we see through the Bible, where we would see things like pornography, sexual immorality, we were talking about in the first segment here, or gambling, tobacco, any addictive products that use and abuse people for profit, or cause people, anything that causes people to stumble in their walk with God or walk towards God. We don't want to partner with them. And you truly are a partner if you own stock. And we don't want to lend money to those causes either. We don't want to support the enemy's war by lending them money. We all get that. I think the majority of us really get it. But did you ever think about this little twist to it? That aligning your money, not just with biblical principles of morality, but with God's plan for your life. That's an aspect of investing with biblical integrity that I think many of us seem to miss. We know that it's God's money. We know that he allows us to use it for our lives and to care for those that he puts in our way. But how does this align with the future? Would God want us investing in something that we couldn't use for his purposes in any way? And obviously the answer to that is no. So when we invest, we should be thinking, how does this investment add to the future lifestyle I believe God is calling me to? Now that opens up a whole new, as they say, can of worms here, because you have to start thinking about the future. Where am I, God? What are you calling me to? Where are you taking me? And oftentimes we only see the light at our feet, the next step. So we don't know for certain, but we can know for certain whether we're investing in a way that would allow us to take that next step, no matter what he calls us to. And that's one of the things I'd like you to think about as you approach New Year's this year is, how does my investing, along with being biblically responsibly aligned, align with the life goals God has for me, for each of us individually? Because each of our paths are a little bit different, because God has different works for us to walk in. Pray. Ask God, what's the next step, Lord? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I putting too much money away for retirement and not enough use today for your projects today? Am I spending too much of your money today on projects I believe are good and may be good, but you're asking me to build up for the future for something else? I'm not saying I have any clue about your life. I'm just saying these are things to talk to the Lord about. So everything we invest should point to God's kingdom, bottom line. Whether it's retirement savings, brokerage accounts, or other investments, they should reflect the future lifestyle God is preparing for you, biblical responsible principles that honor him, and then a risk level that shows wisdom and not worry. So test all things, hold fast to what is good, abstain from every form of evil. That's 1 Thessalonians 5:21 and 22.
Mark, tell me what you think about this. I started putting into practice, I try to remember to do this every time I will buy some more shares of a company, or I buy into a company for the first time. I will try to remember to say a prayer first and to ask the Lord that he would bless this investment. Is that an okay thing to do, you think?
I think praying anytime going before your Father is a good thing. But, I've seen people sit down and at dinner or at a restaurant, and they pray over their food and ask God to bless it to their bodies, and then they'd eat all this stuff that isn't good for their bodies. Not going to bless them, right? And it's like, why? Yeah. Well, he's giving you the ability to choose the right things to eat.
They're not praying for a blessing; they're praying for a miracle, right?
Yeah.
and maybe praying that God would bless your investment. I don't see anything wrong with that. I actually think it's a good thing. But I'd be praying for the company, praying that they would stay online, that they would stay on mission, doing what they were called to do, to make the sprockets they make or provide the services they provide that aren't compromising to God's tenets of love. And then also pray that wherever your will be done, Lord. If you want this company to crash and you want it to crash on me, there must be a reason. I know it's hard to get a direct answer sometimes, but if it's in alignment with your biblical with the biblical principles, it's in alignment with the works God has you walking in, then I think you're safe there to go ahead and pray that kind of because you're not loading your plate up with a bunch of candy and ice cream and all the things that are bad for you. You're actually, getting into some good food, and I think God hopefully will bless that for you.
That's great. And of course, folks, if you're a new listener and you're curious about what we do here, the best thing to do is become a partner because we offer those healthy investment options for you. So consider doing that today. You can become a partner at financialissues.org. And you can gift a partnership as well for Christmas. There's still time. The beauty is you don't have to worry about shipping fees or anything like that. You can gift a partnership and you'll get this awesome gift of partnership certificate. It says who was gifted the partnership to and who it was given from, when it starts. The great thing if you've got a person in your life that you want to share how the Lord has blessed you by investing with Financial Issues. Pretty awesome stuff. All right, fellas, let's switch gears here for a moment. So Elon Musk said something very controversial about AI and saving money. Sam, what did he say?
Well, basically throws a kink in this whole investing thing, right? Because he says in the future, money is going to be useless because of AI. The whole thing comes in response to Trump's whole Trump accounts for kids. He says it's a nice idea, but, quote, it's going to be unnecessary because there'll be no poverty in the future and so no need. There will be universal high income. This is something he said before. Here's Musk talking about this in more detail.
Probably none of us will have a job. There will be, but in that benign scenario, there will be universal high income, not universal basic income, universal high income. There will be no shortage of goods or services. Everyone will have access to as much in the way of goods and services as they would like. The question will really be one of meaning.
So it's going to be a paradise if you're not terribly depressed and don't know what to do with yourself. He said that you can have a job, but it will be more like a hobby. He says working will be optional, like growing your own vegetables instead of buying them for yourself at the store.
So, Mark, here's my question for you, okay? Elon Musk, at first glance, should be an expert on saving money. He is, after all, I think as of today, the richest man net worth-wise in the world. Am I correct on that, Sam? He's close to $500 billion net worth by this point.
Just going up by the day.
Obviously, he is not necessarily taking his own advice here because he's learned how to save money. Mark, what do you think? Is he right? What do we do with this?
There should be this Star Trek theme going in the background of all this, because in Star Trek, if you ever read any of the books or you watched it enough, you realize that poverty was gone during the era of Star Trek, that they had replicators that could make anything from energy. You want a cup of tea, you just tell it, cup of tea, and it makes it. If you need a new shirt, it makes it. It instantly converts it and makes it. I think that's the kind of future he's talking about. On one hand, it sounds very socialistic. On another hand, though, it sounds more perfect than I think we can achieve until Christ returns. Because I really believe we get to do that now. We don't, if we believe in the one true God and all his promises, and we're going to walk in his ways, we get to do good works, right? Well, in the future, if that's true, where we have robots and artificial intelligence that are taking control of all the things that we need to support life, that means that nobody needs to go to work. We get to do good things. We get to go to work. Unfortunately, what we've seen in the fallen man is that when we have choices, oftentimes we'll choose to rebel and choose selfishness and choose laziness and choose all those kind of things. So until Christ returns, until the day that we are fully, everybody is either fully in Christ or fully outside, the age of grace is gone, we will not be able to live like that, because people will have way too much time on their hands. And when that happens, it turns into hedon utopia.
It's the Styx song, too much time on my hands and I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And most people won't decide to do something productive. They'll be doing things that hurt others and hurt themselves, unfortunately, just because we're fallen, just because we need Christ. For those who have Christ, we'll continue on as we're doing, caring for one another, helping others to find Christ. That'll be great and wonderful. But I don't see this happening until Christ returns. hopefully there'll be some movement in that direction where poverty is ended. I notice he did say poverty be gone, but that's not true either. There'll always be the drug addicts, will always be those people who are abusing themselves because they can't numb that empty void that's inside them that God put in us to seek him, that only Jesus could fill, only the Holy Spirit can fill. So the drugs, the sex, the immorality, the selfishness, the pride, all those things will continue to drive people to try to numb that endless pain instead of seeking the truth in Jesus Christ. And the pride will keep many from doing that. So as long as there are people who don't know Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, there'll be pride, there'll be greed, there'll be evil in this world. So we have to wait till Christ returns before we see what Musk is starting to embrace here. And I'm glad he's starting to embrace this thought because I believe it's leading him closer to Christ to think about these things, as it should us as well. Just like everything this week should lead us closer to Christ and hopefully not be a major distraction. And we'll be able to talk about that a whole lot more when we come back. The number here is 610-363-1110. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call.
My wife and I, we moved into this neighborhood. We had some experience with Crossroads Kids Club. We had served at another club. We kind of thought to ourselves, like, it would be really, really cool for us to actually bring in a club that was able to share the love of Jesus with kids directly into the school. And so we started our Crossroads at Hilltop.
Crossroads is amazing. You can learn all kinds of things about God. That he loves all of us. He died on the cross to pay for our sins. That he will help me in every way.
There is just such tremendous opportunity to reach kids in some of these areas that just aren't being reached.
Sometimes I pray every night. When I feel alone sometimes, God is right there sitting next to me. I can rely on him no matter what happens.
Help reach kids with the hope of the gospel. Visit reachOurschools.com.
Tony is calling from the great state of Minnesota.
Hi, Seth. I've been a partner for probably about 6 years, and I've been a monthly soldier for probably about 5. I wanted to talk about the value of financial issues. A full-service broker was managing my portfolio for a number of years, and I was paying them 1% of my portfolio value for all the things that they did for me. The things that they were doing is pretty much the same thing as Financial Issues is doing, as far as stock picks and asset allocation and live advice. The idea that you're only charging, $135 a year, that is ridiculously low when I was paying 1% of my portfolio value. So I think everyone, all the partners, should be a monthly soldier.
Thank you for standing with us, man. It's an honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with you, brother.
Invest without compromise. Go to financialissues.org to get started today.
My baby was like this big. He's like this tiny little spectrum of hope and this unnamed beauty, in a sense. It was poetic. And I saw his heart beating on the screen. And I went from, I don't want this baby, it's just a fetus, it's just cells put together, to talking to my child on the screen and feeling really protective and knowing that there's life growing inside. That sonogram changed my life. I went from just Candace to mom. I'm a mom.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
610-363-1110, folks. We got a couple lines open. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Today, we're live. Rest of the show. Tomorrow, we're live. We've got our Christmas party, our Financial Issues Live Christmas party. We hope you all will join us via the call line there. We'll be taking calls all day tomorrow, of course. And then we'll be off for the rest of 2025. We'll be coming back live, of course, on the first Monday of the new year, Monday, January the 5th. During that week off, folks, by the way, we're going to have a lot of great, never-before-seen content. Mark is going to be just priming the pump a little bit for the new year. We'll also, Mark, be talking about some financial regrets, which I'm looking forward to that as well.
It's wet the whistle.
Yeah,
we just say that to annoy Grant because that phrase bothers him.
So if you've got some downtime during the Christmas vacation and you want to tune into Financial Issues, it'd be a great thing to do. But again, we'll be back live Monday, January 5th. Mark your calendars for that. But phone lines are open right now. So why wait until 2026 to call in when you can call in right now at 610-363-1110?
Yeah, speaking of regrets, you'll be filled with regret all Christmas break, thinking you could have called into Financial Issues, and yet you did not, alas.
And don't forget to call in tomorrow and please, wish us a Merry Christmas. And we'd love to hear from you tomorrow, but we would love to hear from you today, too.
Absolutely. Guys, the markets ended pretty strong on Friday. They rose again. Wall Street began turning towards ending the year on a strong note. Friday's closing bell saw the Dow Jones up 1/3%, S&P 500 up almost full percent, actually. And the NASDAQ turned around. It had been getting clobbered as of late, but it really turned a corner. It was up now 1.3% to finish. Markets have opened this morning. I saw the pre-markets were in somewhat positive territory, and it looks like they're rising to start the shortened week as well. All right, Mark, let's get to a question here. So Clyde lives near South Louisiana. And he's asking, there's a lot of big construction going on near the coast. He's asking about a particular holding, Mark. It's Venture Global. And he's wondering if it's a BRI stock and possibly a good one to buy.
Oh, good question. I love the idea that people are awake and seeing things going on around them. We're seeing construction. We're seeing industries come back to the U.S. Our LNG exports have, I thought I saw an article this weekend that said that they've gone through the ceiling compared to where they were. So that's good. We may be even overtaking Russia in Europe for the LNG transactions. So that's good. And I guess that's what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of construction go on out there. So I too would be, as I drive around, I too see things going on and I think, I need to look that up. So I'm glad you brought this up. I would like to share with you that when we invest, stewardship investing is driven by discipline, fundamentals, and a process and not headlines. Although the headlines might bring it to the front of the mind, that's not a reason to invest just because we see things. For example, there's a restaurant that every time I go to it, there's like a 2-hour waiting line for that restaurant. And it's a chain across the U.S. Yet we're not invested in it because the company behind that restaurant chain, though they have great food and they have great participation from clients and people wanting to eat there, they're heavy in debt and their earnings and their aren't strong at all. So we wouldn't invest in that, even though I so much want to because I love their food. But hopefully they'll clean it up and we'll get into it. The same might be true with VG. I think that was the symbol, wasn't it? VG.
Yes, it was, Mark. VG. Yep.
It's a newer public company, and it has a really complex, capital-intensive structure, and heavy debt. I think it was over 200. What we were seeing in the debt. So we don't want to jump into something too quickly, and there's a lot of project execution risk if some of the things they are doing that they're preparing for don't go as planned. If they hit bumps in the road, that could cause it to fall. There's just a lot of risk in there. So it's on our watch list. I will tell you that much. It is on our watch list. I checked that when I saw your question, and it is something we've been researching, but at this point, it doesn't have the steel that we want to make it a buy. So I hope that answers your question. And I keep those eyes open and keep looking just like everybody else. And when you do hear or see something, even if it's a local thing, if it's a publicly traded company, do send it and say, hey, Mark, I'm seeing they're expanding. Maybe it's a auto repair center is expanding across the U.S., or maybe you're seeing factories go up or something like that. let us know. Let us know what you're seeing, because we'll do the research on it and let you know whether it's a buy, a hold, or maybe it's just a watch right now. So thank you for that Christmas gift of looking into that and bringing it to our attention. God bless you.
That's awesome, Clyde. 610-363-1110. Give us a call, folks. 610-363-1110. Mark, we've got a call from William in Mississippi.
Good morning, William. Merry Christmas and welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Well, Merry Christmas. I have a question. I'm an income investor. I'm 68 years old, and there's certain sectors I don't really want to get into. I don't do mutual funds, and I'm not the commodities y'all have listed, the gold and the silver. I don't want to do that either. I'm okay with ETF, so I can do the international fund with the ETF. The Israel fund I can't do. You had offered advice one time that maybe I could go a little heavier in international ETF to make up for the Israel fund. Any other advice in that vein?
So, what allocation model? Your growth in income or income?
Income.
So you're saying, I'd be looking for the preferreds. I'd be looking for. There are some strong REITs out there that we have on the buy list. The preferreds are on the buy list. Those all have decent income. You also you should have a bit of growth in there. Obviously, you do if you're going into international fund, because that's more of a growth fund. It's a growth international, not so much an income fund. So I think that would be good. Is there any reason why you don't utilize mutual funds?
Well, the advice from FISM used to be that if you felt like you needed your money within 5 years, don't do mutual funds. So while I'm not really drawing on this money, I may have family or whatever. I don't want to get tangled up in mutual funds.
Yeah, I'll look back and see what kind of advice that was and who it was from, because I don't understand it. Quite frankly, mutual funds are pretty liquid. You sell them today, anytime during the day, and at the end of the day, they settle at whatever the ending price, share price of that mutual fund is. So, it's not like it's illiquid. So when it comes to income, mutual funds can be good, because then you're getting hundreds, if not thousands, depending on the fund, of income producing assets in there. So that would work there. I don't understand the logic of holding a mutual. I like holding funds for long term, because most of them are active now. ETFs I like because of the efficiency with the capital gains and whatnot. But this is a good alternative for you. A mutual fund could be an income mutual fund. Some of the Timothy plan they have different types of income funds, and some are more conservative than the others. So I would look into those, consider them. I don't think you need to think about it as, if I buy a mutual fund, I have to hold it 5 years. If it is needed, if there's an emergency. Remember, almost everything you have is liquid in your portfolio. I don't know if you're locking up something into like CDs or something like that, but the mutual fund isn't any less liquid. You can't sell it minute by minute like you can an ETF or a stock, but within a day, they settle now. I don't find any reason why you couldn't be using an income mutual fund.
Well, to tell you the truth, with this advice, I may reconsider my position on that, because I am heavy in CDs.
Okay. Well, right now, wait till they come due and then reconsider repositioning, because if interest rates continue to go down, those CDs are probably paying better than you could get now. So, and if they continue to go down, they're going to get to a point to where, if the interest rates continue to go down, if we see another quarter, half point at the beginning of the year with the new Fed chair or whatever, you might not want to be reinvesting in CDs because of how low the interest might be at that time. and no advantage to it at that point.
Recently, I was moving into preferreds and REITs, and I pretty much at the proper percentage. And then we had sale alerts on one preferred and
a REIT.
So
yeah.
I think I'm sitting back and my powder be dry.
That's okay. And there'll be more coming onto the buy list, I'm sure. We're always researching nonstop to find more and more products for you. The income aspect in decreasing interest rate is always the harder aspect to find great buys in. But we will not give up. We'll continue to do the search, and we'll continue to work to find those products that you need for your portfolio. But nothing wrong with sitting on a little dry powder for a few days or a few weeks. God bless you for that question, and I hope that helped. And I appreciate your call. Merry Christmas, my friend. And that's an excellent question. Sometimes somebody says something and it gets confusing on, do I need to hold this 5 years or 10 years, or is it okay to get rid of it? Remember, when God calls, it's time to move. That's all it comes down to.
I started investing close to 30 years ago now. All that time, I had never heard anyone talk about setting up your portfolio in a way that glorifies God. When I first heard about it, I was listening to the radio, a show called Financial Issues. They were teaching people how to honor God with their money. I became a partner with Financial Issues, and it's been one of the best decisions I've made. Invest your money in a God-honoring way. Go to financialissues.org.
I remember my life before I met Jesus. I was most of the time afraid. I remember one of my teachers gave the classroom an invitation for Crossroads. When they talked to me about the love of God, I felt a sort of peace in my heart. I will commit myself to learn more about God's Word, to be able to share the gospel to others.
To help reach more kids like Louise with the life-changing hope of the gospel, visit reachOurSchools.com.
In the last 10 to 15 years being in ministry, being married, something that has been constant in our lives is Samaritan Ministries. As we've moved, we've had babies, we've had different things come up, we have just been able to rely on Samaritan in ways that we never really even thought about before becoming members.
Our heart's desire is to plant roots and be in a place for a really long time. It's how we were raised. We see the benefits of that, but we also see the open-handedness of being used by the Lord wherever He calls, because we just assumed when we started pursuing church planting, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And with the Lord, sometimes you find out it looks a lot more like this. And yet, Samaritan was with us through the entire thing.
We didn't have to look into, we have to change insurances now because we've moved states or whatever the case may be. And it's just been a real blessing to us in different phases of life.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Colleen.
And we're the Gen X.
And we're Samaritan members.
The opinions and recommendations expressed on this program do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station or any of the program sponsors. Additionally, all products or services offered by the program sponsors may not be known by the program.
Folks, we got time to get you today. 610-363-1110 here on this Monday before Christmas. It's a wonderful time of the year. Certainly is. Grateful to have you, folks. 610-363-1110. Speaking of wonderful, Mark, we have a great comment here from Mike. He's a partner. He's 69 years old. Here's what he says. I'd love to have you address this, Mark. He says, my employer-sponsored 401k allows me to put 95% of God's money into a brokerage account. Of the other 5%, I think the only biblically responsible available fund is my employer's stock. So the majority of the 5% was in an S&P 500 index fund. Although my employer's stock may not be a good investment, it just seems to go down. It does screen BRI clean. So I exchange the dirty money in the S&P 500 for the clean shares of my company. That's awesome.
Mike, I want to take you. And where's Mike from? Do we know?
Mike, I don't see where he's from, but Mike, if you're out there in the chat or on the phones, give us a call and let us know where you're from. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm so proud of you, Mike. I just love hearing this. You saw that the S&P 500, there's no way to invest in that without compromising biblical integrity for your investments and for your life and for your honor of God. You immediately, once you realize that, you moved out of it. You didn't have as many options as you want, unfortunately, because they're making you put 5% somewhere and not clean. And then so you only option, it sounds like, was your company. And that company, NLW, has been on a decline for many years. So even if you're not going to be making a lot of money, you decided, I'd rather stand firm with Christ than stand firm with Wall Street. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed, and I want to take you for a cup of coffee. I want to know where you live. So if I'm ever in the area, I'm going to call you and I'm going to take you for a cup of coffee and just meet a man of God, because I love being around people who love the Lord. No compromised people. They just fill me with wisdom and fill me with hope and fill me with all sorts of positive things. So I want to do that. But I also like to give you, you know what? I want to send you a copy of the letter that we put together to encourage companies to give you options, and hopefully we can do that. Seth, we can send them a copy.
I'll make a note of that, Mark. When Pat reaches out to you, Mike, to let you know when your question was answered, I'll make sure to let Pat know if we could just send that copy of that letter over to you. That'd be great.
Could we also?
We'll do it.
I'd really like him to receive a book. Can I give him a book?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Please do.
I'd like to give you a book too, because I just love it. But I also like to maybe make a suggestion. I don't know if you have a money market account that you could put that 5% in. Usually all 401ks would have a money market that would allow them to do that instead of putting it into a company that is on a continued downturn, So if you could do that, that might be an alternative for you going forward, and possibly going to, instead of your company stock or a short-term government bond fund option you could use. Yeah. You might want to check into that. Either one would be better than investing in a stock that has shown no hope over the years, Right. And I'm not beating up on your company. Don't take it as that. It's just their debt is out of control. They have decreasing revenues and earnings and management issues with adapting to the tariffs and the product life cycles that your company is involved in. So you might, and yet it's a huge company, and they'll probably recover sometime, somehow, because of the revenues and everything they have going. But right now, I'd rather have my money sitting in a money market than there. As you would, as you've kind of stated. And so look into the possibilities of a money market for that 5% and or a bond fund, a government bond fund for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike, that's a great thing. Mark, I'd be curious because he did say his employer lets him put 95% of it into a brokerage account. I wonder if they'd let the other 5% too.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. So, and there might, some companies, they put their matches only in their stock.
Sure.
That kind of thing. So, here's the bottom line. You're doing everything you can. I think that's what God calls us to. Do everything he's enabled us to do. Bottom line on it. So I'm proud of you.
That's great.
Thank you. Thank you for honoring God with all you do.
Absolutely. Mike, we'll make sure to send you both those things, Mark's letter and get you a copy of The Wall Street Awakening, which, by the way, if any of you want a copy of The Wall Street Awakening, just make a donation to the ministry and we'll send you one. We'd love to do that. There's still time. But you probably, if you want it by Christmas or a chance to have it by Christmas, you're going to have to get your copy today. But you can still get it as a late Christmas gift. I'm a big proponent of celebrating Christmas in the days after Christmas as well. So if you're one of those that has 6 Christmases like I do, because I got so many family in the area, you could do that and give it to someone on the 28th or the 29th or something. It's still
You can
Christmas.
always do that thing where you put the little note in the box that says you will be receiving X, Y, or Z.
Absolutely. Do that today, folks. You can make a year-end donation to Financial Issues by going to financialissues.org and clicking on that donate button. We would appreciate it so much. And we want to be able to give you a gift in return. So request your copy of The Wall Street Awakening. Mark, here's another question. Kurt from Georgia asking a good question, saying, good morning, Mark and Seth and Sam. Thank you for that, Kurt. He's saying, so the wash sale rules only apply to taxable accounts? Am I correct? Can I then buy a stock within 30 days of a sale in my Roth account? What do you think?
I love the way you think. I really do. That's one of the things I tried years ago or thought about, but no, unfortunately,
I thought about doing it last week, and I found out you can't do it.
No, you can't. You can't do that. It's if you buy it back in any account that you're associated with, and not only will it not work, you can't claim the. You won't be able to claim the loss on that, but you'll never be able to claim the loss on it because when you sell it and then put it into a Roth, obviously there's no cost basis because you never pay tax on it in the future. So you lost the ability by selling it and buying it before 30 days into your Roth account. And you lost the opportunity to use the wash sale and the wash sale. Did you hear me say wash, not wash? This is Missouri here. We say wash.
Amazing. It's amazing.
They made fun of me, people. Well, they made fun of me because of my accent.
We say wooder here too. So every region has its perks, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but no, you can't do
elementary instead of elementary.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do that. But I love the way you think. God bless you. Have a nice Christmas.
That's good. Next one here, Mark, is Brian. He's 72. I think this is one of our Brians in the chat saying, I see that Blue Owl, that's OBDC, is in the news. Is there action as an investor that we should be taking? And Mark, I'm sure that Brian is probably referring to the merger that never was, as it were. Back in November, Blue Owl ended up calling off the merger of its two private credit funds after, there was just some talk there of what exactly was happening. Of course, the stock dropped like a rock from there. It has been coming back a little bit, Mark. It's currently on our hold list. It pays a pretty good dividend as well. So what do you think, Mark? Any insight for Brian there?
Yeah, there's nothing in the news that's new. They're still the same company they were before. So there's really nothing to do. I think you summarized it pretty good. I just love the idea that you're on top of all that. As we analyze companies together, it seems like you really got that one down. So no, there's nothing to do at this point. If you hold it, continue to hold it. There's no need to sell it this time. The steel is still strong enough to say, okay, we're good with it. It's just the confusion that's been going on and the direction that it's going to come out of this confusion with. I guess the bottom line on that is the management issues. Why did they say they were going to merge? And the first merge went well and it did good. The second merge they called off and they said it's just because of market. Well, I don't see how that plays in. So I'm concerned about management at this point until I see a little bit firmer structured guidance on everything. We're going to keep it on a hold. If you don't hold it, I don't think I'd buy in at this time. I'd wait till they get their act together.
Absolutely. As we've said before, though, about other companies, Mark, if you're holding it, though, you're getting paid to wait because it is paying a pretty nice dividend there.
Getting paid well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And if it ever gets riskier, we'll let you know. We'll put it on a sell if we think it's gotten to the point where it's going to take way too long for them to get their act together.
Absolutely. Mark, here's a good final comment for today's show. I think it's all we have time for. Alan, 78, he says, hey, Mark, I was first introduced to biblical investing and practices a long time ago by Larry Burkett. Mark, you've mentioned him before, I know. He said one of his books that impacted how he conducted his business, this is Alan talking, was Business by the Book. He said, I heard him on one of his radio broadcasts. He mentioned Ron Blue, who you've mentioned on occasion, Mark. If I remember correctly, they wrote a few books together. That's awesome.
It is awesome. And these are the people that all today's Christian financial guidance it's on their backs. They started the movements and they really created it. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can see it, but that book right there, that's a Larry Burkett book. The Coming Economic Earthquake. It was impactful in my life in the 90s. He talked about how debt was destroying our nation. And obviously you hear me talking about the same thing. Larry Burkett and Ron Blue have been the wisdom of them in all their books. And there's gobs of books. I wish we had time to name them all. I just have a few minutes here. But God Owns It All, Generous Living, Master Your Money, Debt-Free Living, The Complete Financial Guide for Young Couples, Business by the Book. All these are great books and worth reading. All these will impact your life, bring you closer to Christ by the wisdom that you'll bring into your stewardship, the wisdom that surpasses the world's wisdom and brings you closer to Christ by helping you align your investments, align your finances, and realizing that He is a good Father. And we get to celebrate that this year. So join us tomorrow as we celebrate Christmas on air. We want you to call in and join us in our on-air Christmas party tomorrow. So God bless you all. Thank you for investing with biblical integrity and honoring God in doing so. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Thank you for joining us. This has been an FISM production.